The following program is paid for by the Charlie Butler team. Looking for tips on selling your home? Tune in to the Charlie Butler Show right here on WGBF AM every Sunday at 9 a.m. The Charlie Butler Show, where your questions get answers. Charlie guarantees it.
Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show. I am, as I usually am most weeks, I'm Charlie Butler. Right to my left is my co-host and from the regional director for Churchill Mortgage, and who has been a very good sponsor of the Charlie Butler Show, and they are the official mortgage company of the Charlie Butler Show. They've also got that little guy, Dave Ramsey, too. But anyway, David Crow. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Charlie. Glad to see you. Good morning to everybody listening.
And we're going to get back to David in a minute, although we don't really want to with some of the things he's got to say. And also the other co-host, and she's looking lovely as always today.
Thanks, Charlie.
The president of Butler DeArmond Real Estate Network, Candace DeArmond. How are you this morning, Candace?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And we're also going to be joined, we'll talk to him here a little bit later, with Kenny Miller from ECS Environmental. And good morning, Kenny.
Good morning, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
Oh, glad to see you. And Kenny's been doing something. I didn't know he did any actual work, because he's got his arm in a sling.
I don't actually do any work. No.
Oh,
This is not work related.
Think so.
This is not work related.
Also, where Jordan tells me that we've got to hurry today because we can't make 30 minutes any quicker, Jordan.
You just got to go as quick as you can. I'll speed it up or stretch it out if I need to. We're in pre-production. I can do pretty much whatever I want. If I want to make you sound goofy, I can make you sound goofy.
Well, I think we sound pretty goofy sometimes anyway. But are you in a hurry because we need to go to the jury store, Jordan?
I knew that was coming.
Right? You can almost bet on it at this point. But no, I work. It's Friday, and work is a bear on Fridays.
And as Jordan said, it is Friday. We're taping on Friday this week, and I guess it's kind of timely that we are doing it on Friday, David, because as much as I wanted you to be able to give us good news, it's not all good this week.
It's been a very, very, very tough week this week, as anyone watching the news, and because those headlines, they love shock and awe. Yeah. They love the negative. And the reality is interest rates did spike up this past week, and the Consumer Price Index numbers came out Wednesday morning this past week. And the short story, I always joke with Charlie and Candace and say I could put you to sleep with all the actual data and information. The reality is inflation just isn't coming down as quickly as they wanted. There's some variables at play inside of that. One that I cracked up on is the fact that car insurance. So, folks, if you're driving down the road right now listening to me, car insurance is up 22% year over year. Mm-hmm. And so there's all kinds of variables in there. The reality is they shot up a little bit, and I'd say it when I'm working with my clients. When that number comes out, there's always a shock and awe in the markets. Give it a week or two, it all somewhat settles back out, and we get back to life as normal. So if you didn't lock an interest rate this past week on Tuesday, you probably just need to float here for a little while. That's what I did. We locked on Tuesday, and then so I've got some right now. I'm just like, nope, this isn't when you want to lock. When you want to lock. We're just going to wait this out and let things kind of bounce back.
Candace and I were talking about that before the show, and I know she's, with hers and with mine also. We're not locking right now, are we, Candace?
Mm-mm. No, we are not.
And but there was something. Oh, yes, I saw the car insurance numbers too. The auto insurance and insurance overall is way up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's as
I see it in homeowners insurance quotes.
My homeowners went
yes,
up.
because when I'm working with someone and we have to acquire homeowner. If you're getting a mortgage, you have to have insurance, and so I'm used to a certain number. And whether I'm in the Evansville market or Newburgh or Henderson or Warrensboro, and I see differences. I really do. But I can honestly say the quotes that I'm getting now, because sometimes when I first start working with someone, I just estimate where a monthly insurance will be. But I see those numbers. Well, my estimations sometimes are a little lower than they're actually getting quotes. And then I'm not naming any companies, but I can see really big differences from one insurance company to another when it comes to 1 year of homeowners insurance on hypothetically a $250,000 home.
Why don't you just lean away from your mic and let me know which ones are the high?
Oh, okay, yes.
As I was getting ready to say, that's one. And Trish Shammo, who's been on here several times from Shepherd, that's one reason I like Trish so much is because they're an independent agency.
Yep,
they've got a lot of different companies, and I can remember she told me once. She said, and I had a bunch of rentals in. She said, this company's looking for rental. And we moved everything to them. And she said, they're 2-3 years later, they got more rentals than they want. Let's go to so and so.
Yep.
And so and that's one good thing about that. If you get a good agent, an insurance, and especially an independent, they can move you around. And
you're completely correct, especially when you get into that commercial side or all the different rentals and so forth. And with the individuals out there with homeowners and their automobiles and so forth. And then it kind of gets down to that person. Credit scores do play a role in it. And longevity, lack of claims, all those things can, matter. And when it comes to I'm staying away from names, but the more common names you see advertised.
Well, and Candace, you might be able to, David, you've got a teenage son. And Candace has got a 22-year-old. So how does that affect you guys' car insurance? I know it affects it.
Oh, my gosh. Whenever Mason first got his driver's license, I was floored.
Yep.
I was like, that's more than my car payment a month. What are you talking about?
Add a 16-year-old boy to a policy.
Yes, I know.
Does.
I mean, it was
and your personal umbrella.
Yes.
Yeah, personal umbrella, because I carry that as well. And I'm like, why is that a factor? Like, oh, you had a teenager to an auto policy.
I called and I said, he's never going to drive my car, ever. Can we do something here? Because, I was shocked because I had never had a ticket. Well, I hadn't had a ticket since I was about 19 years old.
So that was
my
6-7 years ago.
Pretty good. Right. Right. It was just 6 or 7 years ago.
Just long enough to get it off.
Right.
Just barely.
Right there. But I hadn't. And then that happened. I was like, whoa.
I'll tell you, if you don't mind, I'd like to give the listeners a little bit of education out there.
Well, one thing, please do, but one of the things that I wanted to add to this, that's where I started, was auto insurance, and there was something else that was way up. But buried down there, as I said, food prices were
year over year stable.
Yeah. They were like
food is stable.
Up 0.1% was all.
But we won't compare to what it was 4 years ago. But right now, year over year, 23 to 24, food is actually stable. Fuel, we're taping on Friday. Oil's over $87 a barrel right now, which is coming into gasoline. So gasoline went from being a negative number. We actually had it as a negative there for a while. It's back to being a positive. So shelter cost, auto insurance, and fuel were the big three that helped keep that number.
I wonder why oil. And I know about everything going on in the Middle East, but we are producing more oil domestically than we've ever produced.
So sometimes I wonder if we get told the truth. I wonder if somehow the numbers don't get fudged. Now, I can say this week as we're taping, there's a legitimate threat out there that Iran is supposedly, there's discussions, chatter, could attack Israel on Israel's soil, and Israel would retaliate. And that has contributed today to oil being over $87 a barrel. So that's a variable that we hope that does not happen. None of us want to see that. But the reality is, I think for us to see a significant cut in 2024 sooner rather than later, I think it'll happen later, we're going to need, unfortunately, unemployment to go to 4% or above, which unfortunately means people will have to lose jobs. Yeah. And I'm already seeing that on data where employers are working to keep their employees, but once that employee gets let go, fired, laid off, whatever, on the unemployment numbers, it's also seeing that it's harder for them to find a new job. And so these are unfortunately are indicators that the employment number could creep up to over 4, which would ultimately potentially, see how we use all these vague, but that would cause the feds to potentially want to cut rates a little faster. if unemployment starts creeping up. So 2024 will be.
So the strange thing, basically, here's what the strange thing is. We are looking for bad news to get lower interest rates.
Charlie, unfortunately, you're 100% correct on that.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know if we want to segue to our guest here, give him an opportunity to talk and maybe seg back around. But
all right.
I think I've said enough. If you're looking for a home, you find a home that you love, buy the home. A refinance will occur in the next 12 to 18 months. That will happen. That's kind of the bottom line.
Buy the home and date the rate, right?
That's exactly right. These rates are temporary at this point, and that's what we've shared with everyone.
And as we always say, you're going to pay a mortgage.
Yeah.
You're either going to pay yours or you're going to pay your landlord's. It's your choice.
Amen.
So, and David, still, I mean, what I'm seeing is that still interest rates are in the high sixes.
Yeah, on this Friday nationwide, and that gets into. So what you're seeing, Charlie? I'll try and talk fast. And if you're driving, listen to this. What you see on the internet, when you see, and you did see on Tuesday, average rate across the nation 6.88. That number is produced by Freddie Mac. So you have Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the government entities. Freddie Mac is advertising that rate 6.88, and it's not that since Tuesday. Just so you know. They do not disclose or take into account that people use points to buy down their interest rate to get that average nationwide to 6.88. The without points rate this week is well above 7% average nationwide right now. So Freddie Mac, and if you leave, and I had a gentleman this week, and I was going to say this, for realtors running around, sometimes it's a discussion you don't have with your buyers, but one that happened this week is VA loan. They called me. Can you get him approved? We're going to sell his home, but we're in multiple offer situation. I said, yes. I start talking to the gentleman. I can do it, but he has to sell his current home under a VA loan. I quoted him a rate on Thursday that was in 7 1/8. No points, no whatever. And he goes, oh, my God, that changes things. I said, well, what were you anticipating? He said, well, I was just looking online last week, and I thought I was at 5.9. I said, I'm sorry, a rate of 5.9 doesn't exist for anyone under any. And he said, and so we got to talk about points. And I was like, hey, if you find that, send it to me. Again, I won't name the online lender. But when he sent it to me on Thursday, that 5.9 had gone to 6.375. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. This week's been very volatile. But what I wanted him to notice in the small advertising was that it was with 1.9% in points to get down. Now, ironically, I told him, hey, at probably a point, maybe a point and a half, they said, wow, I can get you 6.5. And then when he showed me 1.9, I'm like, oh, I can get you down to 6 if you're willing to pay almost 2 points in the interest.
Right.
So that, if you're driving, keep in mind, look for that number of points. But most lenders always start with 0 out of pocket to the buyer. But it was good to, but yes, just in a brief amount of time, he saw where rates moved from last week to this week. And so, but points, yes. But Freddie Mac, when you see that national, it's not a par rate. It's when they see closings occurred, the rates that happen, it doesn't take into account how many points a person actually paid. So, yeah. Week and 2 weeks ago, rates were much better than they are this week.
Absolutely. Candace and I were talking right now. There are options for people right now, like a variable rate loan.
Yes.
Because I know I am, Candace is. We're both on.
Yep. And that's always an option.
Yeah.
So it's a sticky week this last week, and
So, but I still bought my first house. It was more than
amen.
And so.
I've seen that on social media. I've seen so many realtors this past week put out
the reality check.
The reality check on rates and going back into what 60s, 70s, or whatever it was every 5 years.
You go back in the 80s.
Oh, absolutely. 16, 17, 18% interest rate.
Well, that's
16% is what my dad.
That's where. That's why there's a due on sale clause in your mortgage because people were. And you know it's better than I do, David, but people were letting somebody else assume their loan. They didn't even tell the bank about it. They just made a deal on the side, and then the people may not have been as strong as what the bank thought they had, and they're they've got these people, so they changed.
I
they changed
totally
it.
understand.
Yeah, but as David said earlier, we've got a guest today, and a longtime friend, and who's done a really really good work. He's with a new company, ECS Environmental. Good. And it's Kenny Miller. Good afternoon, Kenny, or good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Charlie. Thanks again for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. So you're with ECS now.
Yeah, ECS Environmental Cleaning Solutions is what that stands for. A locally owned company, owned by Scott Beard here locally. They've been around for about 5 years, and I just came on board about 7 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess first thing, what made you make the move?
So Scott and I, Scott's been around for about 5 years with ECS, and he and I have traded work back and forth over the years. He's in the same line of work that I've been in. As you know, Charlie, I've been doing this for 20 plus years, pushing 30 years. I've been in this industry now.
Everybody knows Kenny as the mold man.
Right. Yeah. That's how you and I met.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, 2003, you called me up to go look at your
church.
At your
Yep.
church, that's right. And I ended up doing a mold remediation for you then, and you've thrown a lot of work my way since then, and a lot of referrals.
Well,
my way,
you've done a lot of business with me, and I think it's been a mutually good thing.
Yeah, it has, absolutely. Yeah. So
And well, Kenny, I'm looking at some of your list of services here, and I've got one that I've got to ask about here.
yeah,
I don't ever remember you doing this before. Pigeon and bird waste cleanup.
yeah, actually, yeah.
That's a problem around here, huh? Pigeon and bird waste.
It is a problem that just does not get talked about enough.
I wonder
but
why.
Good question. But yeah, and I do that kind of work for realtors along with property managers and property owners, homeowners, and commercial property owners as well. It's a very real threat. Bird waste, pigeons, bats, that kind of cleanup, it's associated with histoplasmosis. And histoplasmosis is a disease that will kill you. It can kill you. My ex-wife, her grandfather died from histoplasmosis. He was in the construction industry and worked around construction and was around pigeon debris a lot. And that's how he got exposed. But it's a very real threat. It just doesn't get talked about enough. But we're one of the few companies, possibly maybe the only, I'm not sure about that go out and do that type of cleanup.
Yeah, and I wish I would have went a different route because I know how paranoid Candace is.
Yeah, I'm looking up.
I knew you were looking up that. What is it, histoplasmosis?
Histoplasmosis. Yes.
Candace will have that by Monday.
I mean, I'm going to definitely put it on my list of things.
It's a lung
that I'm
disease,
afraid
isn't
of.
it?
And Candace, I'm going to go ahead and put you on the calendar. We're going to go ahead and
You come on and get all
Is it a
the
lung
pigeons.
disease?
It's a brain disease. It's called
Brain disease.
Yeah, brain.
Okay.
Yeah, it attacks the brain cells.
Okay, well maybe Candace does have it. She's had it for a while.
A touch of it.
I'm just going to go ahead and make her a client right here.
There you go.
Let's go. Where do I sign?
If there's a bird that poops on your car or something,
Like
you'll
histoplasmosis.
be calling Kenny now.
Oh, I'll be. Yeah, Mason won't be allowed. I'm like, a bird pooped on your car. You can't leave today.
Yeah.
We got to
Poor
get that
Mason.
thing sanitized or something.
So with the cleanup, do you do preventative measures to get rid of the birds as well?
We do not, but we work with other contractors. There's a guy who all he does is go out and he gets rid of birds, bats, rodents, and he works in places like Sabic and Alcoa, going in and getting rid of pigeons out there as well. His name's Mike. I won't mention his last name because he may not want me to, but that's how I got hooked up with Mike. And a lot of times he goes out and gets jobs where he's given a job to clean out, to eradicate birds or bats from an attic in a commercial facility or a church or any kind of facility or residence.
Right.
And then after he gets rid of them, he'll call us to come out and take care of the cleanup.
Cleanup of it.
Or vice versa. We'll take on the cleanup, but always tell our clients
this is temporary if you don't get rid of the problem.
It's a moot point for us to do the cleanup if you're not going to stop the invasion of these birds, bats, or rodents.
Interesting.
So we always ask the clients to make sure that it's sealed up, that they're eradicated, and then we'll come in and do the cleanup.
So, Kenny, since this is a real estate show, so I know just about all your services would apply, but one I'm noticing here is odor removal, and I know I've had either homeowners, have a hard time selling their home because of odors, I've had investors that will buy home. They know the odor's there, smell of money, as they call it.
Yep.
You know, but once they get all the old carpet and everything out there, they can't get rid of that odor. So, but you guys got some things that can do the job, huh?
That's right. There's some specific odors that you just can't get rid of on your own. That just spraying Lysol and cleaning with bleach just isn't going to cut it. Especially cats, more than anything. Cat urine is almost impossible to get rid of. We specialize in that, as well as cigarette odors. We do fire and water and storm damage cleanup. We're a restoration company as well as an environmental company. So we also deal with odors when it comes to fire jobs, like after a fire, the smoke and soot, the odors. So we're used to dealing with odors. We use ozone machines, negative air filtration systems with charcoal filters. There's a lot of things that go involved, along with some cleaning chemicals other than just the over-the-counter cleaning products that we use to get rid of those odors.
So now, if having done this before with the osmosis machines, and one thing once you put it in there, you have to leave it in there for a while, and it will kill everything in there.
It will kill everything in there.
Don't leave your pets in there because
right.
Or like if you got a spouse that's sleeping or something, and you're thinking about getting rid of them, put some of these negative air machines in there and shut the door. They'll be gone. I didn't know he was there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Next episode of NCIS.
I know.
But yeah, you're right, Charlie. When we set these ozone machines, it depletes the air of oxygen. That's what helps kill the odor.
Right.
And so in doing that, we have to seal up the property, whether it be a home or business. We seal it up, lock it up, put signs up to keep people from coming in. It'll kill anything from, because it's oxygen depleted, plants, insects, roaches, anything you have in there, it's going to be dead when we get done with it. So, yeah, it kills the organisms that cause odor.
Okay, yeah. So, and as I recall, I don't know if you want to talk about pricing, but it's not that expensive either to get this done.
It varies. Just to set the machines, for example, like cigarette odors, we work with realtors, as you know.
Well, yeah,
Charlie,
that's a tough one.
We work with realtors a lot, and sometimes when we get calls from realtors who list a house where a smoker had lived there before and they want to get those odors, that's pretty inexpensive. We also do some real estate transactions where there's cats in the house. Mm-hmm. And you'd be surprised how many cat owners don't realize that it does have an odor to it.
Yeah.
But it does, and that's a little bit more that's a little bit more involved to get rid of those odors. So it varies, but we do give free estimates to come out. Same thing with the bird cleanup. Everything we do, we get free estimates, whether it be mold remediation, asbestos, abatement, lead. We give free estimates for everything we do.
That's great. And Candace, I remember, I don't know how many, 2-3 years ago, whatever it was, you had a house listed in Newburgh that a smoker had lived there.
Yeah.
And it was a very nice house.
Yeah.
But you had a difficult time with it, didn't you?
Because of this, and we had the carpets cleaned. I cleaned that house personally myself.
But you did not call me.
Well, actually,
There's
I tried to get them to call you, but they didn't.
I can say I bought an investment property myself several years ago and went in with the realtor and we bought it. But it was 2 people lived in that home, never opened a window. Both of them are chain smokers. Mm-hmm. The nicotine was on the wall. I mean, we're in on our head.
Where you can see,
And so ultimately after, renovated the home, put it in and sold the home. And did well, but it was in Kentucky and it was another company, but we had to have that after we did some other things. We didn't clean the carpets. It all came out.
Yeah.
But that for years of 2 people chain smoking in a home, the ductwork, everything. You were saying Lysol and bleach earlier, and I thought, nope, it doesn't.
No, it does not.
And you just brought up something that I left out as part of the odor removals. We do air duct cleaning. And we do it for that purpose. We do it for the.
I was just getting ready to talk. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we include air duct cleaning for the purpose of mold remediation. If you get mold in a house, usually those mold spores, they can get pulled in through the air handler and then spread throughout the duct system, and then they're spread into every room of the house. So that's why we initially got into the air duct cleaning for the mold remediation. But also we use it for the fire restoration, get smoke and soot out of the ductwork.
Yes.
And then we also use it for what we're just talking about here, the odor removal. You get the odors, they get into the duct system, also the air handling system. And so we clean the air ducts for that reason as well.
And Candace, we forgot paying bills.
We sure did.
We sure did. And so the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show brought to you by Churchill Mortgage and David Crow. And as I said, David is the regional director. So when you do hear him talk about Churchill Mortgage on Dave Ramsey, that's great. Dave has been has endorsed him for over 25 years, and I can tell you from actually being endorsed by Dave in the past that Dave doesn't endorse everybody.
Oh, no.
And, you can't just call it. You just can't say, here, I'll write you a check, and you endorse it. And that doesn't work that way if he doesn't believe in the company. But Dave has a national number there. If you call that, you'll get some great people, but you won't get the local service that you'll get from David. And so, David, I don't think we've even talked about it. How can they get a hold of you?
Easiest way to get a hold of me is call my cell phone, folks, 270-222-0676. I will say this, Charlie, because things are picking up. If you go to churchillmortgage.com, select state being Kentucky or Indiana, you will see my name and office pop up. At that point, please give me a call, being David Crow, 270-222-0676.
And David is going to try to get you into a program where these rates you're hearing about now, if you're scared about the rate, David's not going to try to get you where that it's going to be that rate forever.
Oh, God, no. No. This is all temporary right now. But the homes are the hardest thing to find.
Yeah, because
everybody can. We can work around a rate. We can work around the solution. So that's why, I work with so many people, and they're like, well, we're getting married in what was it the other day? We're getting married in October, first week of October. So I think we're going to hold off looking at homes until August, and we'd like to go ahead and just buy one in August, move in September, renovate, and have it all ready for the time we get married in October. Go ahead and get the
divorce papers ready now.
So I chuckle and just say, I hope there's a home in August when you start to look.
Yeah.
This is it. So anyway.
And Candace, you will talk about Bossy Title because I know Norm's listening. He'll be mad if we don't.
I know. Well, Bossy Title for all your title search needs. They're great. I use them a whole lot. Everybody there gets things worked out pretty good, and yeah.
And and Norm's there.
And Norm's there. I mean, that's really my main reason for going.
And for those that don't listen every week, we kid about Norm. Norm is a French bulldog.
Amen.
And he's the the CFO, the chief bulldog, the chief French bulldog officer.
Yeah.
So, Kenny, we're going to run out of time here. Can you come back next week?
Sure. Glad to.
All right, because we got a lot more to talk about. And how much time we got left, Jordan? 1 minute to go. And also, you can reach the Charlie Butler team. And Candace, you got that number?
I do. It is 812-430-1708.
And we've got a lot going on right now. Got a lot of new properties, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a whole lot. We've got some new construction. We've got older homes.
Candace just listed a very nice house on Grand River in Newburgh.
Yes. It's a beautiful home. Nice corner lot. It's original hardwood floors. It's been redone. It's as cute as.
What's it going for?
$319,900.
Okay. So Candace, how can they get a hold of you directly?
They can call me on my cell at 812-455-6338.
And Charlie Butler team, we will also guarantee cash offer. We'll have you cash offer on your home if you don't want to list it in 48 hours. We want to be honest with you. You'll get more money if you list it, but if you don't want to go through that, we'll buy your home. It's 812-499-7758. And we got to go because Jordan and I got to go to the jewelry store. So for Candace DeArmond, David Crow, Charlie Butler, I'm Charlie Butler. For Charlie Butler. For Jordan, too. For Jordan Rowe. This is Charlie Butler. Have a great Sunday.
You've got real estate questions but don't know where to get the answers? Tune in here every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. as Charlie Butler, Evansville's own real estate expert, shares the latest news, info, and insider tips to help you make smart real estate decisions. Find him online at charliebutlerteam.com. This program has been paid for by the Charlie Butler team. From the Kate Foppel Ford Studios, this is News Talk 1280 WGBF.